Well, hello and welcome to another riveting episode or chapter of the world's longest suicide note. My name is Roger, and I deal with suicide a lot whenever I'm having a bad day. Which is, I have 4 mental health diagnoses that have become treatment resistant, so that happens a bit. So even though that is the case, I am not in any way, shape, or form a mental health provider, practitioner, or somebody who you should be basing life decisions on. Always talk to your support group, and that includes your medical professionals. There you go. Alrighty. I got this one done. I mean, pretty much. I'm just going to do the white, the highlights. I also got the other one kind of done too. I'm cruising right along. If you haven't been playing along in the home game, which there is no home game, it's going to be a busy summer of painting pictures because I have a show coming up in October, the month of October. And so I have to have things ready to go by the end of September. I need to cover some wall space. And so I'm going to get these ones done. And I have another one, an interesting one I'm going to be doing next, which is I'm kind of going back to my days of doing spray paint art. And when I say me doing spray paint art, it's not graffiti. I am not nearly talented enough to be a graffiti artist. The ones that could just, get a blank wall and make it just all these cool. I have a hard time painting a straight line. So, doing it with the spray can, it's like, I don't know. Anyway. So, I'm going to start painting, and then I'm going to talk, which is, I don't know why I said it. It felt like I had to explain that. That was weird. Doesn't matter. Get an appropriate brush here. Okay. The computer just like a bunch of screens just opened up. And so I was wondering what that was. I probably got a toll. I haven't paid my tolls yet. So, and they're probably sending me messages. My state doesn't have tolls, so that's weird. All right. So, I want to talk, and again, the understanding is that I have no usable concept for what I've done, what I've talked about in the past. So, and what I'm doing here is there's like a big white kind of part of the eye, and I don't want it to be too crisp, so I use my fingers to kind of do something like that, and then I'll come back and put a more intense spot on it. So, but part of, and really I think one of the most important parts of dealing, being involved with mental illness for as long as I've been involved with it is you get to a place where if you handled it, basically if you survive, and people know that you've struggled and you've survived, and you're okay to talk about it. That's probably the biggest thing, is that people know that, oh, Roger's been through this, and he's okay to talk about it. So maybe we can use him as a resource for what we're going through, or what someone in my family, friends, or friend group is going through. And so I get that a lot. I do a lot of talking and advocating uh, for self-care, and the thing I like to call preventative resilience, which is basically I'm doing that now. This is part of my preventative resilience package. Is I come here and I paint, and the act of doing that is part of my process, my self-care process, part of my overall wellness plan, which again I call preventative resilience, because it's fancy words that mean something. Anyone could say self-care. Literally anyone could say self-care. But to say preventative resilience, that means so. No, it's just fancy words. So now we have fancy words. This is part of my preventative resilience, and honestly, the thought of living without art is, why bother, right? I mean, I just feel it's so important, and it's such a big part of my life that, and so anyway, getting back to the actual topic that I'm trying to, topic on. God, I gotta stop saying all the time. I say all the time, and then I catch myself saying and then I think, and then it takes me off track, because now I want to talk about why I say all the time. And when you start saying, start noticing it, then that's all you notice, and that's all you say, and it's like, all right, moving on, not moving on, going back. I'm okay to talk about my experience. I do it, and I like talking about my experience. It helps me process. It helps me understand where I'm at, and whenever I could use a negative to make a positive, that just feels so good to me. Everything's right in the world when that happens. So if I could take my dark depression, suicide stuff, and improve my life or someone else's life, it's like that is, that the church choir goes, oh, hallelujah. Maybe they don't sing hallelujah, but so I put myself out there, and I tell people, look, I don't do that I'm not trying to replace anything, and that's got to be, I'm not trying to say, oh, well, you don't need X, Y, or Z. All you need to do is talk to me. Wow, that rhymed. That was like singy rhyme. Did not mean to do that. But I constantly get calls and messages. Could you talk to me? I mean, those are my favorite, because then it's somebody that's going through that. But most of the time, it's for somebody else, not the person who's reaching out, but they're reaching out, trying to advocate for someone else, and those are usually what happens. And I always say I'm absolutely willing to talk to them about what's going on and seeing if we can, come up with something. But I just want it known that it's always on the docket. It's always my the way when I talk to anybody. My goal is to get them into some kind of treatment with some professional. Now, whether that means what I don't know, and what I have to determine through interaction is what do I push for? Do knowing what's available, and trying to understand, not everybody has to go to the emergency room. Some people legitimately just really need to, they just haven't talked, and they're just in a dark place, but not necessarily life threatening. So if someone wants to know, and I know the resources that are available in my area, and so what I try to do is just talk to them and see, and for my own self, see where they're at. See where they're at in their mind space, and really what they need. And again, that's not a service. I don't put myself, like there's services that helps mom get into a nursing home, or there's I don't run a service. I don't sit there and say, I'm going to evaluate and see what's going to be most appropriate for you as far as getting you some help. But so this week I was went and met with an individual, and I knew immediately this was like, it's time to go to the hospital. And I say that because in our area where I live, the hospital is for crisis situations, that is where you're going to get the help. We don't have a crisis center, so to speak, that's going to, that's dealing with imminent suicide. And so whenever I feel that it is imminent, and if action isn't taken, and there's a specific, kind of look to what that is, and if you've been around enough suicidal people, you understand. You just know. It's like, okay, it is time to plug in the professionals, and it's always time for that. I don't ever take that lightly, and I don't want anyone assuming from what I said that that's what the case is. No, that is far removed from what the actual case is. Everyone needs help. Everyone needs professional help. The question is, do you need it this minute? Is your self-imposed expiration, is it pending? If so, let's take immediate and drastic action. And I don't mind that at all, one bit. It's like, yeah, let's get on it. And I don't take chances, If I have any, question about it, it's like we're going to err, we're going to have the abundance of caution situation. Because that's just how it's going to be. And I am not a professional. I can't take, I'm not qualified to talk someone off a ledge. I mean, I've been on the ledge. I've been there a lot. I'm not, and if somebody's on the ledge, I'm not going to run and get somebody. I'm going to handle it to the best of my abilities, because I'm not going to be like, let someone else do it. No, hell no. If I'm the only one there, I'm going to take care of it. But that being said, I'm not the only one. there's a lot of good people who do good work in that space, and that's who I want to connect people with. So if you're advocating for somebody who's there, I mean, and it feels like an emergency, treat it like an emergency, and go. But again, like I say, a lot of times people feel good after, because they just never talked. They've never had a conversation where they could actually open up and say, these are complex feelings, and this is what, and to have someone understand that. That's the biggest thing, to have somebody understand like what that means, and to be in that place. So that's, at the end of the day, what the most important part of that is. So anyway, just always err on the side of caution. Be approachable. Be aware, but always understand that if somebody, if you don't even feel like it would be good to leave someone alone, don't stay with them until you're replaced. I say, when you're talking with folks who may be suicidal, it's like once you go into that situation, it's like CPR. You don't stop CPR until somebody qualified tells you, okay, that dude's been dead for like 3 hours and you're just still doing it. It doesn't matter. You keep going. I mean, it's the same thing. You don't say, hey, I got another thing, and so let's talk for 45 minutes and you can just put it all out, and then after that I'm going to go. Sometimes you can't just go until there's someone else there. You've been chosen to stand in the gap, and you're going to have to stand in the gap for as long as it takes. And the person, it doesn't really have the authority to release you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they'll just, in talking, and they realize it's not going to, and it'll more cement that idea that in their head, depending on how that conversation goes. And if you just leave, oh, they said they were fine. I mean, you know if someone's fine or they're not. And if they're not fine, you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to hang here for a little while, until we can get someone to take over. So there's a whole process. And honestly, yes, these things are best left to professionals, but unfortunately that access is limited. And whereas people are everywhere and we can access people, and sometimes anybody will do the job. Just anyone who's willing to listen and see the person and hear them and validate their experience. Sometimes that's all that requires. Is I just need to talk about it. I just need to go through, and then maybe come up with a plan, and this will work until I could get a hold of an actual professional, which may be months from now. It also helps the whole process, the talking bit, getting people to talk, and if they could talk to you, then it's easier for them to bring that stuff to the professional, which is, again, where you want to be. But it's not like there's Lucy's on the corner with the psychiatrist is in stand, where it's not like we have those everywhere, and that would be, that'd be cool, if you could access help like that just down the street. So instead of that, people make a difference, and I believe it's up to all of us to make that difference. And it's not like it's caring for a person. It's understanding where they are and what they may do, and allowing them to be who they are, but in a way that doesn't injure them. So, but and then also to understand that that's going to impact you. I had that situation where, I mean, it was very stressful. I mean, you go into it, it's going to leave a mark on you. No matter what, it's going to impact your energy, and so you have to protect that as well. Just like I go into it, and I've done a lot of advocating. Been around people and advocated. Every time, I have to be aware of what that does to myself, because it does have impacts on you. So, but I don't think there's a higher calling than to be able to step in and meet someone where they are in a really dark place, and just let them know that it's okay, that it will get better, that the storm will pass. And it may be a very long storm, maybe a very, very bad storm, but it will pass. Then it's just letting it pass and hope, not doing the damage, having to undo too much damage after the storm passes. That's the whole idea, and that's where we can come in and we can gather around people and lift them up to a place where they could see above or beyond what they're going through. Suffering in silence. We all do it. It doesn't sometimes make us. If somebody knows we're suffering in silence, does that help? That somebody knows we're suffering? No, not. But if they're able to meet us in that and say, "Hey, let's talk," that talking helps. It 100% helps. So keep talking, keep fighting, keep advocating when it's possible, when it's appropriate, and keep talking to your support group, including any professionals that you have. And if you feel like you need a professional, get a professional. They're there. It just may take some time to get there, but we still do have access to services. So use those services. So, and then we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.